if you enjoy any of these 5 popular niche fragrances, you will absolutely love these 5 alternatives to them. Let's start with Creed Aventus. If you love this stuff just as much as I do, I genuinely think you will love Zhufu Poet. This fragrance that I'm mentioning to you right now is from a Chinese brand that isn't really sought after or very known about, and the reason I like Poet from Zhufu is because it takes the Creed Aventus DNA, it makes it slightly more blue and removes the pineapple accord at the top, which for some people can be slightly screechy and or obnoxious, and softens it with some of these clean effervescent citruses and some pink pepper to add some more lift and sparkle, and just makes it very smooth, very round, very blue, giving you this blue fragrance approach to the Creed Aventus DNA, which I really enjoy. And you might think that it's not very strong, but it is. It's long lasting, it has great projection, it has a great sillage and scent bubble in the first couple of hours, which some people might miss from modern batches of Creed Aventus. So if you love the Creed Aventus DNA and would like to try something that takes the Creed Aventus DNA into a more blue fragrance direction, Zhufu Poet might be a fragrance that you should definitely try, especially if you can get your nose and hands on it. I tried it at Paris Perfume Week when I was there in April, and it was one of my most favorite finds in the Notes Shanghai pop-up that I found there. It's incredible, especially if you love the Creed Aventus DNA. Next up, if you love Xerjoff Erba Pura, I will highly recommend to not necessarily find an alternative, but to supplement this fragrance with its counterpart, which is Sospiro Erba Pura Magica. Xerjoff Erba Pura is very potent, very intense, and very abrasive, with this slightly synthetic and very fruity opening, which smells like a fruit basket in somewhat of an unpleasant way for some because of that synthetic edge, while Sospiro Erba Pura Magica softens this DNA, making it slightly more round, more fluffy, not as sharp, and significantly softer, which also means that it's not going to be as intense, as potent, and as strong, and therefore also not as projecting and long lasting. So supplementing these two fragrances together, which are very similar if not identical for some people, it in my opinion fixes the Erba Pura DNA but also completes it, because you get the projection, the sillage, the incredible performance of Erba Pura from Xerjoff, but you soften the DNA, you make it more pleasant, more comfortable, more textured, and more fluffy by adding Sospiro Erba Pura Magica on top to in the end get this incredibly potent but pleasant scent bubble of this fruity, fruit basket, musky DNA that isn't sharp whatsoever, because Erba Pura Magica removes that synthetic aspect to the DNA and makes it more round. So don't replace Erba Pura, supplement it with Erba Pura Magica if you can afford to do so, and if you really want to get the best out of the DNA, in my opinion. Next up, if you love Maison Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540 but you want something different but still somewhat in that realm, I can recommend trying out Roja Parfum Qatar Aoud Parfum. And the reason for that is because in my opinion this takes more of an animalic, woody, more daring approach to this crystalline, sugary saffron DNA that this possesses. I won't say that these two are identical or one-to-one or anywhere close in terms of the composition and scent sensation, but I will say that these two share some of the same qualities made in completely different ways, where Baccarat Rouge 540 is way more pleasant, sweeter, more appealing, whereas Qatar Aoud Parfum from Roja Parfum is definitely more animalic, more dirty, more complex, and more multifaceted, and might not be for everyone, if not a vast minority of people. But if you want something more daring, something that adds to the Baccarat Rouge 540 DNA in a very abstract and abnormal way, in the sense that it adds some musky and woody compounds to that transparent, sugary, sweet, perhaps fruity vibe, I can highly recommend at least checking it out and getting your nose on it. But be aware, it's strong, it's potent, it's divisive because of these slightly musky animalic oud facets that this has. But I genuinely think if you like more animalic, more oudy scents, and you also like Baccarat Rouge 540, I think this takes this DNA and makes it more Middle Eastern, more oriental, and more animalic, while still withholding these transparent and sugary vibes of Baccarat Rouge 540. Second to last fragrance in this video, if you're looking for an alternative to something like Guerlain Tobacco Honey or Zoologist B that have these very realistic honey accords, I will show you the best honey fragrance out there that I've tried, and that is Le Galion Tilleul. In my opinion, this has the most realistic honey note in perfumery, period. This literally smells like honey that you can buy in your local grocery store. You open it up, you smell it, and you might even take a spoon on your hand down into the honey jar, eating it and perhaps smelling the sensation of eating honey right there and then. This is dense, thick. It has this honey dense balsamic sweetness in the most realistic way possible. In the air, this projects, it has lift, it has volume in a very pleasant and sugary way like honey would have in a closed environment. This is one of the best honey fragrances out there on the market in my opinion, because of the sheer photorealistic sensation of the honey note in this fragrance. It's absolutely incredible. In my opinion, it's more of this realistic true honey than an animalic honey like in Guerlain Tobacco Honey or in Zoologist B. You need to try this one out if you can, and that is Le Galion Tilleul. Lastly, I'm going to throw in a curveball. If you enjoyed the original Acqua di Parma Colonia with this fougere-like scent that is very classic, very old school with this citrusy kick, try out these two. Not just one, but two fragrances. The first one is very underrated, very under the radar unfortunately, and that is Brunello Cucinelli Pura. The other one is Maison Kurkdjian Masculin Pluriel. Let's start with Brunello Cucinelli here. This is more of a spicier, darker take on a fougere, because even though this has this citrusy kick like Acqua di Parma, it also has this old school masculine fern-like scent, with it being somewhat barbershoppy, more woody, more classically masculine. But the black pepper and angelica gives off this more dark, more spicy and more dried sensation to this typical fougere scent DNA, which I think this one executes really well, because not only does the black pepper give off more of a darker, spicier edge, and on the other hand, Masculin Pluriel is in my opinion one of the best fougere fragrances out there on the market, because it very photorealistically smells of shaving foam in this very pleasant, creamy, woody, aromatic way. But what differentiates this one from the others is this very rindy and zesty yet subtle and very complementary grapefruit note at the top, with there being this classically masculine fern, woody, aromatic and creamy shaving foam like woodiness, which I think is very pleasant, very grown up, very classically masculine, but slightly in a more fun and lively way, with that airy and complementary grapefruit that isn't overly juicy and overly rindy and sour, but more of this effervescent and bright citrus. Both of these are great alternatives to something like the original Acqua di Parma Colonia and other classic masculine fougere fragrances, and these last significantly longer than Acqua di Parma Colonia will, but both of these project really well and last significantly longer nowadays. Gentlemen, what do you think of this video? Do you think these alternatives are justified for the other fragrances? Do you find the first fragrances to be more than enough? Do you like these fragrances at all? Have you tried some of the alternatives? Comment down below your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. I would love to see what you have to say down there. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the Masculin from YouTube channel for more videos about fragrances, grooming, style, fashion, skincare, fitness, watches, everything that will make you, gentlemen, the best possible versions of yourselves. The last few things that I want to ask you, gentlemen, is to smile more because it's free, and I want you to watch these two videos right here. This one here will turn to my latest upload, whereas this one up here is going to be a video that YouTube algorithm thinks you will enjoy.